Welcome to a special journey where the roar of a classic engine brings an entire era back to life. Before you stands the 1957 Corvette, a car that represents not just speed, but the bold spirit of post-war American innovation. In the mid-1950s, when heavy sedans ruled the highways, the Corvette appeared as something entirely different: compact, powerful, and impossibly beautiful. This was the moment people began to see Corvette not as a showpiece, but as a statement, a declaration of America's hunger for performance and freedom. From that moment on, Corvette was no longer just a name. It became a heartbeat of American identity. To understand why 1957 mattered, you have to look back at where the Corvette came from. When it first appeared in 1953, it carried the Blue Flame 6 engine with only 155 horsepower and a Powerglide automatic transmission. A beautiful car, yes, but one that lacked the fire true enthusiasts wanted. Then came 1955, when Chevrolet changed its philosophy completely by introducing the 265 cubic inch V8, and suddenly the Corvette began to find its own identity. By 1956, the frame was stronger, the body sharper, and for the first time, the car started to feel like a genuine sports machine. Something you wanted to drive, not just admire. And then came 1957, the year everything got serious. Corvette finally stepped into the world of speed. Its only rival at the time was the Ford Thunderbird. But that car lived in a different world, luxurious, soft, and refined, powered by a 312 V8 and an automatic transmission. If the Thunderbird was built for gentlemen in suits, the Corvette was made for men in leather jackets, ready to grab the wheel and take on the open road. Under the guidance of Zora Arkus Duntov, the brilliant mind behind it all, the Corvette entered a whole new era, one where power wasn't just a number, but a symbol of national pride. Duntov believed Americans deserved a sports car that could stand shoulder to shoulder with Ferrari and Jaguar, and 1957 was the year he made that belief a reality. And when you look at the Corvette, you notice the difference right away, not just because it's beautiful, but because it was created in a time when beauty still meant refinement. There are no thick chrome trims, no flashy dual headlights, like in 1958, just smooth curves and perfectly balanced proportions. This is a design you can stare at for hours, and the longer you look, the more you understand why many call it the purest Corvette ever built. The fiberglass body gives it a sense of lightness, as if the entire car was sculpted from a single piece of liquid metal. Every contour along the sides, the pointed nose inspired by jet aircraft, and the rounded headlamps blend together into a perfect symphony of balance. The Inca Silver paint was a rare choice, with only about 65 cars leaving the factory in this color. Silver paired with orange interior might sound odd on paper, but when you see it in person, it feels surprisingly harmonious. It doesn't need to shout, it doesn't need to stand out. Its quiet simplicity is what makes it truly captivating. This was a design language once ruled by Europe, yet in 1957, the Corvette made it unmistakably American, elegant, powerful, and full of confidence. If 1958 was the year General Motors chased the spotlight with chrome and extravagance, then 1957 was the pinnacle of purity. A time when the Corvette remained untouched, unpretentious, and true to itself. A sports car perfect in every detail. And beneath that sleek, graceful body, you'll be surprised to find a chassis designed around one guiding principle: remove everything unnecessary and strengthen everything that matters. Chevrolet didn't chase complexity. They chose the harder path. Keep it simple, but get it right. The frame was refined with a lower center of gravity, allowing the car to stay planted even at higher speeds. It wasn't extravagant, but that simplicity became the backbone of a driving experience few American cars of the era could match. The solid rear axle and drum brakes on all four wheels may sound dated today, but in 1957, they represented performance at its best. With no independent suspension or electronic aids, the Corvette relied entirely on optimal weight balance and frame rigidity to deliver precision and agility. Because of that, while it carried American muscle in its stance, it possessed a distinctly European sense of discipline, light, balanced, and efficient. When you lift the hood of the Corvette and look into the engine bay, you immediately understand why people call it the heart of America. It's the 283 cubic inch V8, an engine that amazed the world by achieving 1 horsepower per cubic inch, an accomplishment never seen before at the time. And while the Corvette could be ordered with advanced Rochester mechanical fuel injection, most buyers stayed with the familiar setup: dual 4-barrel carburetors. For them, it wasn't just a technical decision, it was an emotional one. Nothing compares to the deep, steady rumble and the smell of fuel when both carburetors open wide. The Corvette's engine bay is clean and purposeful, almost free of unnecessary details. Here, you'll find features unique to its era: a fan clutch that disengages the blades at higher speeds to reduce drag, a generator-driven tachometer, and those small round air cleaners mounted atop the carburetors. They look like aftermarket parts, but they're factory correct. Together, they form a mechanical composition that feels pure, honest, and unpretentious. What makes this 283 so special isn't just its output, but the way it delivers its strength: smooth, solid, and endlessly dependable. Weighing around 2,800 pounds and powered by a 283 cubic inch V8 producing 270 horsepower, this car delivers a power-to-weight ratio that would humble many modern machines. Each press of the throttle brings torque smoothly and confidently, not loud or abrupt, but fluid, strong, and alive. The 4-speed manual gearbox operates with the precision of a Swiss watch. The throws are short, the shifts deliberate, and every click through the gate feels deeply mechanical. Out on open roads, you finally grasp why Jay once said, "It's still fast by modern standards." At mid-range speeds, it's composed and steady. Push it higher, and the exhaust note deepens into a metallic symphony of steel and fuel. What's fascinating is that the Corvette never flaunts its speed. It's fast, yes, but it's a measured kind of fast, born from perfect balance between power, weight, and gearing. On California's coastal highways, you can almost feel it breathe with you. Every throttle input, every gear change syncing to your heartbeat. And in that moment, you realize why 1957 was the year America got truly serious about the words sports car. And then, when you shut off the engine, open the door, and step inside, the world within the Corvette tells a different story, one of intentional simplicity. Jay once joked, "Come look at the interior. That's what's pretty impressive too." He wasn't wrong. The cockpit wasn't built to pamper, it was built to express the spirit of a true sports car. No radio, no heater, no unnecessary comforts. Everything that wasn't essential was stripped away, leaving only what mattered: pure connection between driver and machine. Front and center sits a symmetrical dashboard, dominated by a 140-mile-per-hour speedometer, a declaration of intent if there ever was one. The tachometer, oddly positioned in the middle of the dash, defies modern design logic, yet perfectly captures the charm of the 1950s, a time when America was learning how to turn speed into art. The drilled three-spoke steering wheel, slender yet solid, carries a European flair, transmitting every texture of the road right into your fingertips. The dashboard itself is honest and functional. No gleaming chrome, no luxurious veneers, just paint, metal, and leather, blended with quiet harmony. But within that restraint lies a timeless beauty. Every steering input, every shift of the lever, isn't just mechanical motion. It's a dialogue with an era's design philosophy, a time when everything was crafted to serve feeling, not fashion. The Corvette doesn't need to shout. One glance is enough to tell you, this is where speed met art. Everything from its lightweight steel frame and fiberglass body to its clean, purposeful layout was built around one guiding philosophy: less is more. That's how Zora Arkus Duntov, the father of the Corvette, set out to prove that America didn't have to copy Europe to build a true sports car. When Chevrolet chose fiberglass over steel, many laughed. Who would trust a plastic car to go fast, they said. But the results silenced them all. The Corvette was lighter, more agile, and resistant to rust, a bold step even European makers hadn't dared to take. Around the same time, Ford introduced the Thunderbird, more luxurious, heavier, but missing the feeling of life that pulsed through the Corvette. Duntov didn't want the car to simply look beautiful. He wanted it to move like a living creature, responding to every gesture of its driver. That spirit built the Corvette legacy. From the Blue Flame 6 in 1953 to the 265 V8 in 1955, and finally the 283 V8 in 1957, each generation was a step forward, transforming Corvette from dream to reality, and from reality to legend. As the Corvette rolls out into the sunlight, you sense something different. Not just power or speed, but the feeling of touching a living piece of history. The open road stretches ahead. Sunlight gleams off the silver paint. The wind glides past the body, and the deep hum of the engine blends into a melody only the mid-century could compose. What makes the Corvette special isn't the numbers, it's the connection. Every shift, every throttle press feels like joining the car's heartbeat. No sensors, no driving modes, just you and the machine, measuring the road together. At high speeds, the wind and exhaust merge into a warm, resonant tone that silences everything else. You're not driving it, you're sharing existence with it. And when you slow down, the Corvette retains its composure, like a gentleman leaving the stage after his final symphony. There's no rush, no noise, only the calm confidence of a legend that's already proven itself. The Corvette reminds you that driving isn't always about arriving somewhere. It's about feeling the journey. And in every mile, you realize the past never died. It lives on in sound, fuel, and the heartbeat of those who still care. If you've ever sat behind the wheel of a classic Corvette, or simply paused for a moment to watch one pass by, share that story in the comments below. Tell me how it felt. The sound of the exhaust, the smell of gasoline, or the instant you realized why cars like this never truly die. This channel is for those who love the sound of real engines, the scent of grease, and the kind of memories no technology can recreate. If this story brought back something inside you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, so others can feel the heartbeat of the past too. Let's keep the Corvette and the spirit of an America that dared to dream alive on every road.